You're listening to Conversations at TIGS.
Hello, everyone. You're listening to Conversations at TIGS. I'm Saveetha Meganathan here, your host for this episode. We at the Tata Institute for Genetics and Society, also known as TIGS, are working on a way to get India ahead in solving challenges in human health and agriculture through cutting edge science and technology. The key focus of TIGS is to use the science of genetics and genomics to address the challenges in society. To begin with, the very first episode to discuss the vision of TIGS, I'm delighted to host Dr. Rakesh Mishra, the director of the Institute. Welcome, Dr. Mishra. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Hello, Saveetha. Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Dr. Mishra, I'm sure our listeners would like to know about the vision of the Tata Institute for Genetics and Society.
Sure. At TICS, we are addressing real world challenges through cutting edge science and technology. Through science and technology, we are aiming to solve the societal problems that otherwise impede the development of our nation, especially in the field of healthcare and nutrition. Adding to that, here we work on the idea of translating the progress seen in fundamental research to technologies. So you can say that we serve as a channel between path-breaking scientific and technological advances and the need of vulnerable and disadvantaged population in India.
That's fantastic and perhaps very encouraging for scientists who want to make societal impact. Further, how would you describe the role of genetics in such a pursuit to solve societal challenges?
Progress in genetics, or for that matter, genomics, has given us access to the genetic blueprint of any species on the planet. Therefore, we can read and interpret the genetic basis of any animal or plant to the most minute detail level. And it is possible and affordable to access this minute detail on a large scale, I mean at a population scale, which means we can now try and explain why each one of us as individual and is unique and respond differently to various environmental factors, including pathogens and, for that matter, to drugs. This, when put in the right perspective, will pave the way for personalized and precision medicine. Importantly, recent advances enable us not only to read but also edit or change the genetic makeup of the organisms. This technology of genome editing allows us to probe deep into the genetic code, which will open the doors for gene therapy. And also, this will solve the challenges that we face in agriculture, especially to improve our food crops. These technologies are not too far from becoming routine practice.
Wow, it looks like we've arrived at a point where the science of genetics and genomics has become part of our everyday lives. Now I'm sure our listeners are curious to know more about the research programs at TIGS. Could you please talk about it?
Yeah, overall, we work on three major programs. To start with, one of our programs is infectious diseases. In this, we study pathogens in different contexts that include environmental surveillance, antimicrobial resistance, and vector control. Our second program is on what we call as rare genetic disorders. Although referred to as rare, we are having at any given time around 90 million people in our country who suffer from such, and we need a lot of research to find out apt solution to these. So we are working towards developing accessible diagnostics so that we are able to screen carriers of genetic diseases and pave the way for genetic counseling. We also look for cost-effective therapeutic strategies. Current available option, that too for very few of these thousands of such diseases, are simply unaffordable. And finally, we have our crop improvement program. If you ask any farmer, he or she would say that they need more resilient varieties to disease and pests, along with enhanced nutrients and drought tolerance, as Indian agriculture is very much monsoon dependent. Here at TIGS, we aim to make such crops. Given the fact about climate change, land availability, and a lot more hurdles, the crop improvement program at TIGS aims to meet the needs of the present and future generations.
It is very reassuring to see that TIGS is pursuing research programs that are relevant to the grassroots needs of our country. As a research institute, TIGS has proven to have set up one of the premium state-of-art insectary facility. Could you talk about the facility and technology platforms that are housed at TIGS for our listeners?
So here is a gist of facilities we offer. The very first one is our insectary, where we offer what we call the state-of-the-art insect biosafety level 2 and 3 containment facilities. These containment facilities to support contemporary research on insecticides, repellents, and so on. And then we have therapeutic platforms for the development of innovative treatment strategies like mRNA therapeutics, cell therapy, protein therapy, etc. On the list, we also have a diagnostic development platform. Getting diagnosed is the very first step of treatment. For that, it is inevitable to set up an effective public health system. It is crucial to develop cost-effective point-of-care diagnostics to accelerate better health for our population.
I hope our facility and technology platforms contribute in improving the challenges of diagnosis and treatment of both infectious diseases and rare diseases that many patients and clinicians face in our country. On that note, let us move on to yet another interesting program at TIGS, the Community Engagement and Humanitarian Technology Program. As a scientist, could you tell us how crucial is community engagement to science practice?
Glad that you brought that point. Here I would love to bring in what we call science communication. Most of the challenges, given the fact that they are technological hurdles, are also communication problems. At TIGS, we are very much aware of this, and we are committed to delivering scientific knowledge to varied stakeholders and audiences. This requires innovative tools. For instance, this podcast is one such spin-off from TIGS. Thus, through proactive community engagement, we can attain social inclusion in many processes of scientific advancement. And we all know that our constitution says it is important for anyone to foster a scientific temperament, for which community engagement is very, very relevant. Say if it is about affordable and efficient healthcare technologies or cost-efficient diagnostics and treatments for rare genetic disorders, or let it be for developing nutrient-rich local food crop varieties. For that, all these societal challenges, community engagement and humanitarian technology would reinforce the positive impact. All scientific efforts that we are making is for the society. So society must be explained and should be ready to accept the solution provided by high-end science.
I'm sure that TIGS will succeed in achieving social inclusion in all its scientific pursuits to serve the society. Many thanks again for being on board for this podcast to talk about the vision, research programs, and the various facility and technology platforms housed at TIGS. I'm also positive that all our scientists at TIGS take immense pride in our work as a socially committed research institute.
Sure, Saveetha. At TIGS, we aim to help solve the current social problems through cutting-edge science and technology and high-end research, and I'm happy to talk about it anytime. Thanks for inviting me for this podcast, and pleasure is mine. Thank you.
You just heard Dr. Rakesh Mishra, Director of the Tata Institute for Genetics and Society. Until the next episode is aired, follow us on social media to engage with us. Thank you for joining us.
Progress in genetics, or for that matter genomics, has given us access to the genetic blueprint of any species on the planet.